but it's okay. All right, here we are. Here we are. Here we are. Because you're a professional, and that's what professionals do. You make gibberish noises into microphones. Would also help if I had, a team of highly trained production people, but I don't. But it's okay. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Faith and Fandom Feedback Friday for July 12th, 2024. As we are about halfway through the month of July, and I am way over on my patience and mental health and everything else for this month as it is. So I'm genuinely glad to be sitting here long enough to have a conversation with you, talk about the day, talk about life. If you are watching on the live stream, feel free to comment, share, interact. If you are listening to this on our podcast channel, you can always watch video of this over on our Facebook or on YouTube as well. But I am grateful for all of you for being a part of this and for having me be part of your day. And Tristan, I hope if you watch this, it's not too late because I slept in a little bit. It's been a bonkers week, y'all. I had 4 14-hour days in a row because uh evening, yay, Tristan's still rocking with us. Um I was working my job at the college starting at 7:30 in the morning, leaving at 10 to go do a Bible study at Camp Grace, coming back to the college as soon as that was over, working for 5 or 6 more hours, um, and then going back to Camp Grace and speaking. And so, like, there were days I was leaving at 7 a.m. and getting back at 11:30 p.m. And it's been a week. It's all valuable. It's all worthwhile. I'm grateful for the job in terms of provision of money for my family. I'm grateful for the ministry of Camp Grace because it's worthwhile and I believe in it. But buddy, I'm sleepy. I am a sleepy man. And I get that grumpy nerd adult thing of uh I just want to play video games. I haven't had a video game I've wanted to play in forever. Um, I like Baldur's Gate 3 a lot, but it's taxing just because it's mentally heavy and there's a lot riding on every decision, and that's kind of stressful sometimes. But I downloaded Destiny: The Final Shape, and I've been enjoying the little bit I've played of that. I think I've played 4 of the campaign missions out of 34, I believe is what I saw. But yeah, I've just wanted to play video games and nap, but it's been a grind, but I am grateful. So let's jump into some news. Um, if you aren't familiar, there was a season where the WWE had some really sketchy in terms of the wrong vibe. Uh, 3D graphics that were projected on screens for events and entrances and stuff like that, where a giant Roman Reigns would be like towering over a really awkwardly designed Becky Lynch would be pulling down her sunglasses, or when the Judgment Day came out, hooded figures with swords and stuff would pop up. Those have officially been killed and discontinued. And they were more ugly than needed, and those have been killed, and we don't need it anymore. So, yay. Let's pause and appreciate that those are gone. In real WWE news, Rhea Ripley made her return this week on Monday Night Raw, setting off the storyline they've been laying foundation work for since WrestleMania. Uh, Rhea Ripley is my youngest child's favorite, so I tend to follow this one a little bit more passionately. I saw somebody posted a TikTok of it as soon as it happened, and I woke her up, made her watch it. So excited to see where that goes. But if you're a fan, she has returned. Um, Also in wrestling news, because it tends to come in clumps, Finn Balor has signed a 5-year extension with the WWE and will be remaining on for at least the next 5 years. One more thing for wrestling news: there is a dude who's the famed green shirt guy, uh, bald man, goatee, usually a khaki hat, but he wears the same outfit at every wrestling event, period, and always has ringside seats. And at the last event was the first time he ever didn't wear a green shirt. He wore a white shirt with the same design. And so, you know, the world is cursed now. That's some we're saying. The Watchmen animated series has added a pretty staunch casting list of people that will be voicing the characters. Um, Particularly one I'm excited about, Katie Sackhoff is now voicing Silk Spectre. Um, but Matthew Reese is going to be Night Owl. Titus Welliver is Rorschach. You might know him as Bosch or 49 characters from different shows from Lost to Supernatural. But he's going to be voicing Rorschach. There's just a handful of good casting choices in the Watchmen animated series, so I am looking forward to that and seeing what it's going to be. Um, Fern from Social Club is dropping his own solo EP next week called Shiesty. So if you are a fan of obscure Christian hip hop, Shiesty drops on July 19th. That will be good. I've always enjoyed Social Club, and they have a nice dynamic back and forth. In sad news, uh, iconic actress Shelley Duvall has passed away at the age of 75. Shelley Duvall, who was famous for The Shining, for Popeye, some different things of that nature, she has passed away at the age of 75. And, you know, that is sad. The Notre Dame Cathedral in Rouen, France is on fire, or it was on fire. This is after, there was just a fire a few years back. It was only temporary, or it was, not gonna the whole thing burned, but it was rough. Um, Judah and the Lion has dropped a surprise new song called Body and Soul. Haven't listened to it yet, but I plan to. But I've had some friends that have said the lyrics are good. But there's that. Um, Jantastic, uh, is a tightrope walker slash slackliner who walked a 3.6 kilometer slack line over Italy. Um, it went from his slack line went from the mainland of Italy to Sicily, which is, a little island off to the side. And he walked a slack line the entire 3.6 kilometers very high in the air. Um, you can check that out from Jantastic or from Red Bull Italy. They've got videos of that, but dude straight tightrope walked like a hot distance, and that's pretty crazy. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and say this and just drop this in here. I know, again, I'm not a political person. I'm not pushing any candidates. We'll say that this week was kind of an alarming thing for the amount of on record mix-ups coming from President Biden. Um, and this is not me saying anything on candidacy. This is just saying concerning as being a person. Um, there was a point where he confused Zelensky, the president of the Ukraine, with Putin. There was one point he called Vice President Harris Vice President Trump. And yeah, it's a lot in terms of like concern. There was another one too, and I'll come back to it, but yeah. There is a sequel series that has been announced to Outlander, or sorry, prequel. It's called Blood of My Blood. You can check out photos for that over at Entertainment Weekly. Yeah, prequel series to that is called Blood of My Blood. The UK Postal Service is releasing a line of D&D stamps to coincide with the game's 50th anniversary. From things from the Mind Flayer to different ones, the gelatinous cube, they're all there. So you know, if you got access to some stamps in the UK, you should definitely jump on these. We are officially reaching the end of an era as Redbox is shutting down. if you live in the States, and I don't know if Redbox is in other places. But Redbox is basically a kiosk video store. People attribute Redbox to part of the death and decline of Blockbuster, along with streaming. But Redbox has officially run its course and is going to be shutting down in the near future. This will basically mean that nationwide we will have no place to actually rent physical media entertainment. That outside of buying some films at Walmart and stuff like that, we're going to be out of options for buying or for handling physical media. Now, that being said, I can't tell you the last time I've rented a physical copy of entertainment. Um, I might buy something for the sheer sake of nostalgia or packaging or whatever else, but I can't tell you the last time I've actually rented something physical. Um, I think in my whole life I've only rented 2 movies from Redbox, period. Um, but after 22 years, it's also kind of crazy that Redbox has existed for 22 years. They are officially shutting down. Signs of the time, man. In news that could possibly shake up the world indefinitely in terms of professional nerd news, Comic-Con International, as we've called it, San Diego Comic-Con, is talking about moving out of San Diego. Um, they will be in San Diego through 2026, but might depart because of the price gouging of hotels in the San Diego area for the event. They are officially open to discussion. They are looking at other cities, but they are not happy with the rising cost of hotels, specifically geared towards Comic Con attenders. So we're officially on notice that there's a 2-year window for them to make some peace in this situation, or you could be facing, you know, San Antonio Comic Con International as the new destination or wherever else it is. It'd be great if it was North Carolina, but there's not a place in North Carolina big enough to hold that. Um, but yeah, that is something that's coming, and I get it. The one time I went, I didn't pay for a hotel. So you know, it's just gonna change the landscape a bit. Um, if you are an Amazon Prime subscriber, you officially will get Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League free, as it goes part of their Amazon Play package. This is after the game is struggling and almost had a full shutdown right before their season 2 started. But the game obviously did not do well, but it is now going to be a free perk of Amazon Prime Gaming. So, if you want to try it for free when you didn't want to spend money on it, now you're going to have the opportunity as long as you have Amazon. On gaming, you might want to consider, if you're not aware, next week is Prime Day, Prime Week for Amazon Prime, and they're going to have lots of big deals. Ahead of that, Walmart is trying to snag a few of um, your superfluous spending dollars by offering a Nintendo Switch Lite console for $159 that also includes Animal Crossing New Horizons. So for 150 bucks, you can get a Nintendo Switch with Animal Crossing, and which basically means you're getting a Nintendo Switch for like $90. So uh if you want a Nintendo Switch Lite and you want some peaceful cozy gaming, or you want to gift that somebody that might need some peaceful cozy gaming in their life, that's a pretty darn good deal for that. Um Also, ahead of Prime Day, you can get 3 months free of an Audible subscription if you're interested in that. So Audible subscriptions, if you just go to Prime now and check it out, they do have a Audible subscription. I am not getting paid by Prime to promote their stuff. I'm just saying I think these are moderately good deals you should maybe check out. The trial began yesterday for Alec Baldwin in the shooting case that took place on the film Rust, which left one person dead and another person wounded. The armorer for the movie has already been sentenced to 18 months. Alec Baldwin is up for the same thing. And yeah. Now, while the conviction is, did not come as a surprise for the armorer, um, yeah, just personal opinion, I don't see Alec Baldwin getting charged for this because he literally had someone whose job it was to check the weapons and make sure there were no live rounds, etc. And that person has already been convicted for the crime. I don't see it happening for Baldwin, but what we have come to see in recent footage surrounding the trial is that Baldwin was not the only one who had live rounds in their gear. Um, Jensen Ackles, who plays Dean on Supernatural, was also in this film. And it turns out that Jensen also had live rounds in his bandolier, whatever the strappy thing that holds bullets. Um, he also had live bullets in his bandolier. And so, had it not happened to Baldwin, it could have happened to Jensen. And either way, it's a tragedy. And there shouldn't be lives lost in filming like this. Live rounds should have never been on that set. But it's a hard thing um, to have to go through. And my sympathy goes out to Baldwin in that. I know he's not a perfect human, but dang it, when you accidentally shoot someone because you think you're playing with pretend stuff, that's a hard place to be. Uh, Inside Out 2 is now Pixar's top grossing film of all time. So there you go. It's officially reached that point that it is its most successful thing, which means we'll probably be seeing these characters pop up in media formats for years to come. If you've seen the movie, let me know how you feel about it. On that. One Piece Day is going to take place from August 9th to August 11th. So technically it's 3 days. Um, and there's lots of celebrations being planned for One Piece Day. But one of the things that we're expected some more information on is the fact that Netflix announced last year that they are rebooting the animated series with a new style. Even though the animated series is still going and is in the mid 1000s or like 1100 and almost 200. Um, but Netflix is rebooting it and they're expected to put out news about that during that time. Other big wrestling news at the Money in the Bank event that happened this past weekend, John Cena announced that he would officially be retiring from wrestling. This has been said for a while because he said that he wanted to retire by 50, which will put him right on target. But the heart and attitude of it is that he is going to spend 2025 finishing out his timeline with the WWE. So 2025 he will be wrestling, I believe what he said at the press that he will be wrestling at 30 events out of 2025. And that will allow him to move forward with that. All right, Tristan says Inside Out 2 is really good. I'm glad to hear that. My kids say it's really good too. Um, I still have avoided it for emotional damage for myself because I'm trying not to die. Um, but good. I'm really glad. Like, just I've got a daughter moving out. I've got my kids, both my younger two kids becoming teenagers, and I'm just like, I don't want this right now. I'll watch it eventually. Um, I just don't want to go to the theater to cry. Um, but yeah, Cena has announced that, so we can look forward to about a year and a half of storylines. But he says December 31st, 2025, he's hanging up the jorts and will pursue other things. He's still got lots to go in the DC universe as far as playing Peacemaker across projects. And he is being eyed slash requested to play Frankie in the live action One Piece should it time out well for him. I don't know. I have not made it to Frankie in One Piece yet. But I get it based on the character design that he could be a functional match for that. So there's that. and things that you absolutely never asked for, but are going to get regardless. Remember how a couple of years ago we got a reboot of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, where it was a grittier drama and a little darker, less comedy, more teen angst. Well, we're getting another one, but this time from Martin Lawrence, and it's going to be a drama about young Martin. Like Martin, the character from the TV show Martin, that version of him, we're going to be getting a drama based on his gritty life leading up to his life with Gina. So I'm not against it, but I don't see my need for it. I've also not watched Fresh Prince. Um, just because I have teenagers and angst. I wasn't looking forward to it. Um, but that is coming. It's officially been announced that Matthew Chauncey is taking over as the creator, is taking over as the showrunner um, and writer for X-Men 97 beginning in season 3. Uh, he, uh, Chauncey was one of the main writers and people that brought us Marvel What If, which I feel like if anybody can deliver good Marvel based animated stories, it's the people at What If or the people at X-Men 97. So the fact that they're jumping in together is good for me. Um, he'll be replacing Bo DeMeo, who was let go prior to the show's release for X-Men 97. Um, and I guess this is technically news, and I meant to share it last week. We announced this past week and a half ago that I'm going to be hosting my second Comic Con. I did a Comic Con at my church in 2023. I thought it went moderately well. I heard good things from the vendors and attendees. It was a good community response. I finally got through enough of my year and summer to say, all right, let's do it again. So that is going to happen on Sunday, September 20 or Saturday, September 7th, 2024. Um, just within the first week of announcing, I had basically more vendors and artists sign up than I have space for, which is great. So working on jurying through making sure um no, dude, hold on, let me finish that statement. So yeah, the con is coming again. If you're interested in details on it, let me know. But yeah, it should be coming September 7th. My friend John asked if I'd seen the Cap trailer yet. I have not seen the Cap trailer yet. Um, but I will be seeing the Cap trailer, so let's put a pin in that. I will absolutely oh, I know you're gonna help John. John's gonna be there selling some Funkos for some folks, but yeah, I got you got me, man. Um, but yeah, the con is happening. That's a deal. It just dropped. Um, I'm definitely not looking on my phone instead of talking to you all right now because oh, and Tristan shared it. Oh man, hold on. I'm live action watching the trailer. We've got Anthony Mackie talking to Harrison Ford as president. Ooh, gritty tension. Making Captain America an official military position. Isaiah attempting to kill the president. Oh, snap. This looks like political thrillery. This has Winter Soldier vibes. Ooh. I hope Seth Rollins is still in it. I'm gonna watch. I'm watching. I've seen some Giancarlo Esposito in there. Okay. All right, A Brave New World. Ooh, your mama. Giancarlo with some bullet drops. Okay. Y'all that are listening to this, I apologize. Um ooh wee. The trailer ends with Red Hulk throwing the shield into the ground. So ooh wee. I'm here for that. Yes. Well, that also really looks like it has some strong Winter Soldier vibes, which I'm down for. I like the Jack Ryan-esque vibe of Winter Soldier, and this definitely looks like it's up that alley. Um, yeah, that looked nice. I like that. Um, the American Bible Society recently did a poll, um, talking about people's stress levels by age. And it stated that on a stress scale, Gen Z scored 12.9, Boomers scored 6.3, Gen Xers scored 9.9, and Millennials won 11.9. Um, and that generally speaking, that's the kind of stress level that they operate at, putting that Gen Z is the highest stressed. But the American Bible Society put out a study that states that Gen Zers, specifically that engage in scripture on a daily basis, their stress score drops by half. Um, and that if you actually read scripture on a daily basis, it tends to bring the rest of your stress level down dramatically. So you can read more about that at the American Bible Society. They published the State of the Bible 2024. You can find a link to that at relevantmagazine.com. But yeah, that's a thing. Um, Surprise, reading the Bible might help you. um, Well, that's the thing. It is July 12th, which means officially Eminem's new album, The Death of Slim Shady Coup de Grace, has dropped. Uh, and I don't have a review of it to say, but people are gonna be angry. But when is that not the case? When it comes to Eminem albums. Um, Specifically, I can see Lizzo being super targeted on this one, and I'm still really surprised that it's 2024 and there's still a ton of Christopher Reeves references. But the whole dynamic of the album is, in a nutshell, Eminem from 2004 has kidnapped Eminem from 2024, and they're battling each other. Is a soft nutshell expression of the album. So if you are a fan of that, that's what you've got to look forward to is blonde hair bleached Eminem versus bearded Kangol hat wearing Eminem and where their life is. Uh the movie Long Legs, the horror film starring Nicolas Cage, drops today in theaters, and across the board it's getting like 10 out of 10 ratings. It's being considered the scariest thriller um of the decade, as I've seen it listed. I've seen some people say it's the scariest film of all time. It's my understanding it's not a supernatural film, it's just a psychological thriller. But either way, Longlegs is getting banger reviews and performances are being pretty highly praised. But if terror is your jam, Longlegs drops in theaters today. Um, there is a A24 film, um, which if you know A24 tends to be art housey type stuff from the X/Maxine films to Everything Everywhere All at Once to The Whale, stuff like that. A24 tends to be art housey. Um, and they are putting out a movie called Sing Sing about a Christian man who is wrongly imprisoned and launches a theater program while he's in prison to help transform the lives of others. Um, and that is happening. And so it looks like it'll be one of A24's first positively Christian themed films. Um, because they have some upcoming horror-ish stuff that looks like that. And by the way, I finally saw a trailer for Heretic, starring Hugh Grant. And I mentioned it on the last one, but I've watched a trailer now in theaters. And basically, Heretic from the trailer appears to be Hugh Grant intentionally capturing some missionaries who come to evangelize to them and putting them through Saw level torture to convince them to renounce their faith or to be certain of what they believe. Um, just from the trailer that I saw, it looked pretty horrific and terrifying. Um, but yes, Heretic is that. Long Legs, Sing Sing, awesome, interesting life choices for cinema coming up in the days ahead. Minor league baseball player, Wes Clark. John says that's a nope. Um, Minor league baseball player Wes Clark um, was baptized on the field of his baseball stadium by his Brewer Chicklin, one of his teammates. After the game, after the game was over, they changed out of their official jerseys and or uniforms and put on shirts that say Jesus won, and they filled up a baptismal at home plate, and the whole stadium gathered around to watch as Wes Clark was baptized and shared his testimony. So that's a pretty dope thing in terms of professional sports and just good teammates and to be able to celebrate that and have that opportunity. But if you look up Wes Clark, you're going to be able to find out some more details about that. But he plays for the Nashville Sounds as the team that he plays for and where they did their baptism. Um, there is a British UK case that I guess the UK has been following for a while, but it's made its way to America as being just a topic of discussion. A nurse named Lucy Letby um, has been sentenced to life in prison. Um, and you can dig more into the details of this because I don't want to spend a lot of time on this topic because it's pretty horrible. But Lucy, effectively, from what I've gathered by doing research, Lucy has been convicted for life because she was intentionally murdering babies that she delivered, like premature babies, babies that but then she would murder the babies and then do things like um be very chipper and celebratory about it with the families. And it's a weird case. If that kind of true crime depravity of humanity stuff like is something that interests your news level, you should look up Lucy Letby. I'm gonna keep going though because I don't want that to be my whole day. um, there was on the flip side, let's go to a miracle baby. Um, a baby that has been labeled Baby King Trail uh, is in state custody awaiting his grandmother to come get him and take him home after she goes through a process. Um, Baby King Trail was a baby that was found in Louisiana and survived. And this is to my understanding, Baby King Trail is a 1 year old that survived in the wild, in the wilderness after a hurricane, um, or after a heavy storm for 2 days. That the baby was literally crawling through nature when a truck driver spotted him coming out of a ditch and stopped and rescued him. The doctors say outside of bug bites, he's doing good. Um, but that literally an 18 wheeler was driving down the interstate or down a highway and saw a 1 year old climbing out of a ditch alone, and the baby had been gone for 2 days. So, Baby King Trail, that happened. Um, and political news, again, don't at me. You know where I'm at. Um, the AOC, Representative Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, with the AOC, it's easier to say, has officially filed for induction articles of impeachment for members of the Supreme Court. Um, Kind of a vote of no confidence situation based on some of their recent decisions, and that will, obviously play out. But specifically to impeach conservative Supreme Court justices, as it's being labeled. But yeah, there was a stampede, uh, not a stampede. There was an avalanche that took place in Peru 22 years ago, resulting in 2002, resulting in the missing reports of 22 different climbers. And because of some air quotes geological shifts, weather changes, stuff like that in the area, these bodies have now been uncovered, and they are finally able to find these people that went missing 22 years ago in a mountain climbing expedition. Two of the climbers were Matthew Richardson and Steve Erskine. um, but he's been lost for 2 decades and has now been found in that capacity. um, Recently at an event, former President Barack Obama fully acted out intentionally the Key and Peele sketch about Barack Obama's handshakes. There was a famously broadcast Key and Peele sketch that has been used as memes for everything from The Legend of Zelda to musical tastes of who he handshakes, if it's a proper handshake, if it's a dap up, if it's a bear hug. And a whole group of people lined up, and Barack Obama actually played the entire sketch in its entirety for these folks in real life. Um, in absolute nope news, Chinese customs apprehended a man who tried to sneak 100 live snakes onto a plane in his pants. The man had 100 snakes, baby snakes, individually bagged and lining the inside of his pants. And this was at the Fusion port in Shenzhen. But Chinese customs actually, good job, customs. That's all I'm gonna say is good job. Customs always stops me because for whatever reason, there's something that shows up like around my belt line, even when I'm not wearing a belt. But whatever. I'm not mad at you. You keep our planes safe. But yeah, this dude had 100 snakes on him. And bro, where are you going with 100 snakes? Why are you going anywhere with 100 snakes? And please don't ever do that again. Um, Ellen DeGeneres has announced that she's officially done with entertainment once her current comedy tour and Netflix special airs. That she is retiring from entertainment and will no longer be part of the entertainment industry. Um, yeah. A fugitive drug lord slash criminal kingpin, uh, air quotes, Ronald Rowland, who allegedly, um, allegedly is responsible for laundering over $900 million in the last 5 years, was arrested because his wife kept tagging their location on Instagram. They would go on trips, they would go on uh, tours and vacations and things like that. They owned 100 different businesses for their laundering process, and his wife, I guess, unbeknownst to him, was tagging which businesses they were going to and where they were at, and he was fully apprehended because she wanted to share their location. So, hmm. Mr. Beast, who is only 26 years old, has officially stated that if they lower the age limit for presidency, he'll jump in. as soon as he can. He's only currently 26, and to be run for president in America, you have to be 35, which means we have two full presidential terms before he would be eligible. But he states that if they were to lower the thing, he would jump in now. Um, I genuinely don't know that Mr. Beast would make a good president, but he would make an entertaining president. Um, on terms of other people and age limits and weird things, Justin Bieber got paid $10 million for a single performance this past week. Um, there's a billionaire heir, Anat Ahmad Ambani in Mumbai, India. He's the heir of a billionaire family. Uh, and he wanted Justin Bieber to perform at one of their family's events. So he did. He got paid $10 million to come perform for Anat Ambani, and that's a huge payout for to do a single performance and get $10 million. So there you go. Um, over the 4th of July weekend, um, the Hoctua girl met with several networks, specifically like CMT and country networks as well, who are pitching her reality TV shows. So this young lady, because she does have an interesting hometown life and has very Duck Dynasty vibes, Hawk to a Girl is officially being pitched multiple shows, and there are networks saying that they will do whatever it takes to get her a reality TV show. So that's coming. Uh, Boeing has officially agreed to pay a $240 million fine, and they have pled guilty to a criminal charge of not taking care of their airplanes and falsifying things when it comes to their airplane things, specifically relating to two planes that crashed, killing 346 people. But saying that they have not done what they were supposed to have done, and they've owned it, and they are taking the payout. While most people look at this as not enough, there is that, and now they are operating under a criminal record practice. Um, Recently, uh, Danny Trejo got into a street fight, which that should not be like a surprising statement. But it's been a minute since Danny Trejo's been a in real life violent person. But Danny Trejo got into a street fight. He threw a chair at somebody and got knocked to a ground at a 4th of July parade because somebody threw a water balloon at his vintage car. So, first of all, don't do that. Don't throw things at Danny Trejo. That's just a bad life choice in general for so many reasons. But yes, he did not take kindly, and it turned into uh yeah, it turned into an ugly thing. Um there is a new John says million or billion. Um Million on both. Boeing got fined 240 million. Bieber got paid to 10 million on those prices. And Johnson says new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle roguelite Switch exclusive drops on the 17th. Looks like Hades, but has the team yeah. To my understanding, it's going to be a 4-player couch co-op type situation. And it's looking pretty dope. New Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. Um Amelia Clark uh is joining a um Amazon Studios produced TV series called Criminal, based on the comic book by Ed Brubaker. Um but it's going to be an interlocking stories of crime type situation. And yeah, if you're into crime stuff, yeah, hey criminals, are you into crime? If you're into crime, that's going to be a thing. But Amelia Clark will be starting a new crime series. Um, and for the first time in a minute, uh, a big budget film trailer has proportionally more dislikes than likes. Now, I know that's not a big, sounds like a big thing, but normally you expect about 10 to 20% dislikes to likes ratio when it comes to about anything in pop culture. Um, the trailer for Gladiator 2 has 110,000 likes out of 12 million views and 175,000 dislikes, which means 75% of the people that, or 61% of the people that watched it disliked it. But almost the primary reason for the dislike is the fact that the Jay-Z song No Church in the Wild is used in the trailer. And they're upset the Jay-Z song was used for this film. Um, so yeah, that's a thing. People are mad that a Jay-Z song was used in the trailer for this, and they're pretty upset about it. Um, yeah, that's totally a thing. Now, Kit Laser, who is a TikTok movie reviewer, says that, he swings to the way of, A Knight's Tale, and he's not really concerned about historical accuracy with music and films. And I tend to kind of be of agreeing of that nature, but it seems pretty proportional. Now, like, John Jacob says it looks gross, like such a huge departure from the original film or original feel. I hope I'm wrong. Gladiator is not a film I ever thought needed a sequel. You could call it something else. You could label it something else and be just fine. Um, but I mean, I don't know that I've watched Gladiator since 2000. Like, I watched Gladiator in Bible college. I and John also says, what about the music at the end of the Acolyte? Folks are losing it. I actually thought that was an interesting choice. I watched the Acolyte this week and listened to the music. I was like, hold on, we're getting like music at the end of the Acolyte. I wasn't mad at it. The original Sea Quad aliens and space battles. Nah, man, we don't need that either. Um, definitely don't need that. I'm gonna see if I can grab my backpack. What was I gonna show you? That's not important. Ugh. Grab my backpack though. Some faith and fandom ish news. Uh, church service and panel have officially been announced and timed for GalaxyCon Raleigh. So sorry, say that again to the microphone. Geek Church has officially been announced for GalaxyCon Raleigh. It'll be at 11 o'clock on Sunday. Also, a discussion panel on that Friday. That's happening. It's big to do there. Um, and I'm grateful for that. And yeah, so that's coming. There is new shirts. I'd said the God's a Fan of You shirt. I wore one for the first time to camp when I was speaking this week, and I was pretty excited about how it felt and everything. Um, I have some new Faith and Fandom merch that our Patreon supporters are going to be getting first, but it will be premiering at GalaxyCon Raleigh for actual sale and stuff. But I'm waiting to say what it is and show it until I mail it out to our Patreon supporters first because I want it to be a surprise for them. So uh if you've been part of the podcasting tier for Faith and Fandom or the Faith and Fandom Flipper, stuff like that, you're gonna be getting something cool by the end of the month. I'm waiting on shipping to get here with it. Um yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. Um I've been speaking at Camp Grace all week and we've been like knee deep in a lot of things. And next week I'm running the superhero camp for the city of Lumberton for a couple hours a day. And I'm also leading worship for a missions group that's meeting in the evenings. So it's just kind of all over the place for me with the stuff that's going on. I just want to say thank y'all for being patient. Some podcasting news. Love Thy Nerd has officially built up YouTube channels for each of their podcasts. So now there will be a YouTube channel specifically dedicated to the Faith and Fandom podcast. There'll be a YouTube channel specifically dedicated to the pull list. And I think that's going to be pretty cool and pretty neat experience and will help people kind of get tracking with that. Um, And I've shared this verse before, but I just preached on it last night, so it's just kind of like fresh in my heart. Um, Verse 18, 2 Corinthians 5:18. All this from God who reconciled us to himself through Christ and gave us the ministry of reconciliation. Verse 19, that God was reconciling the world to himself in Christ, not counting people's sins against them, and he committed to us a message of reconciliation. And I spent some time as I was kind of closing out the chapel service last night with the teenage group at Camp Grace, just sharing that literally the whole message we've got is to help people come home. And I want to encourage you, keep doing the stuff that you're doing so that you can help people make it back home and be where God loves them, and to be able to be connected with a God that loves them. I want to take a moment to thank our Patreon supporters, David Brooks, Jeff Weimer, Colin Sproles, Jamie Montgomery, the Coleman family, Jonathan Herman, Ron Petit, Gear Saber Cosplay, Scott Ward, Alicia Glenn, Candace Davis, Jace Sheed, Jason Crutchfield, Mike Perna, Todd Turner, John Jacobs, Zach Karras, Caleb Grimm, Jeanette Skaggs, Christina Ray, Sarah Lewis, Patrick Gale, Rebecca Godlove, and Adam Davis. Thank you all for being amazing supporters and being encouraging in all the ways that you are. And I'm gonna get my Friday going. I gotta do one last session at Camp Grace today. I'm gonna try and play some Pokemon. I'm gonna try and get some office work done. Um, Let you know currently, in terms of writing, I am writing uh eventually. I'm in the prep work of it, of writing a chapter on Karlach and our Infernal Hearts from Baldur's Gate 3. Also in the process of writing and mapping out a Doctor Who uh dot and bubble chapter. Um uh and kind of eyeballing some other stuff with that. I love you too, John. Thanks for hanging out with us this morning. And yeah, looking forward to what God does next. Thank y'all for taking the time to listen. Also, Faith and Fandom 180 is back to weekly. It went to bi-weekly for a while, and it's going to be back to weekly on LTN radio. So you'll be getting more of those in the future. But thank y'all. God bless y'all, and I hope you have a great day. And I will see you at a con soon.